I think I'm going to get a Nobel Prize for a lot of things if they gave it out fairly, which they don't.
Will you get the Nobel Prize? Absolutely not. They'll give it to some guy that didn't do a damn thing.
I stopped wars from happening. If it were somebody else, they would have gotten 5 Nobel Prizes.
Okay, so there's no doubt that Donald Trump craved the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize. There's no doubt about it. In fact, he wanted it so badly that he and his supporters never failed to talk about it. And they not only talked about it, they campaigned, for it. And Donald Trump, feeling very deserving of it, always highlighted the reasons why he should get it.
Even in Africa, we saved the Congo with Rwanda. They've been fighting for 31 years, 10 million people dead. I got that one done, and very proud of it. So if this works out, we'll have 8 in 8 months. That's pretty good. Nobody's ever done that. Will you get the Nobel Prize? Absolutely not. They'll give it to some guy that didn't do a damn thing.
However, when the Nobel Committee announced the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, Donald Trump was snubbed. And this woman, Carina Machado, was awarded the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize. And this got Donald Trump and his supporters livid. They believed that Donald Trump was intentionally denied this prize because he was Donald Trump. However, it's important to note that whilst Donald Trump campaigned for this prize, he still had his doubts. Somehow he just didn't believe that he would be given the prize, even though he strongly believed that he more than deserved it.
I stopped wars from happening. If it were somebody else, they would have gotten 5 Nobel Prizes.
They will never give me a Nobel Peace Prize.
What would happen if they really...
I deserve it, but they will never give it to me.
But what if I told you that the real reason, the main reason why Donald Trump missed out of this year's Nobel Peace Prize is not because of what you think, but because of a fact that Donald Trump and MAGA fans were totally unaware of. A very minute fact which changed everything. A fact which had nothing to do with the left or the committee or the governments or the wars or the people. It was a fact that was critical in determining the votes that determined who will get the prize.
Although the full list of nominees is locked away for 50 years, some nominators choose to disclose their selections. This year, the leaders of Cambodia, Israel, and Pakistan have said they nominated U.S. President Donald Trump. But those nominations were made after the January 31st deadline, so they're not valid for the 2025 prize.
Now, did Donald Trump meet the criteria required to be voted for? Of course he did, because here is the criteria.
It's for those who have done the most for fraternity between nations, disarmament or abolition of standing armies, or the holding of peace congresses. That was what he wrote in his will.
And there's no doubt that he met this criteria. But what everybody missed out on was this fact. And this changed everything. And as you can see, even MAGA followers, even the MAGA supporters have now realized their mistake. Now watch these videos and see for yourself.
Everybody that was a candidate to be a Nobel Prize to be considered this year, their applications had to be submitted before January 31st of 2025, which means President Trump had just been president for 11 days. You can't nominate him. He hadn't done anything yet. You know, President Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize 8.5 months of being a president. You know what that means? That means 2 weeks after he became president, they started nominating him to be considered as a Nobel Prize winner.
Wow.
So even though we say he won the Nobel Prize only 9 months later, he didn't. He won it 2 weeks later. Think about the madness of people who nominated him 2 weeks later, and you have a guy here that is stopping all the wars that started under Biden, whether it's the Ukraine, Russia that he's still dealing with, whether it's the, Hamas, Israel. Think about the stuff that he's doing, but the level of hypocrisy. The one person I will give credit to is, I thought it was such a beautiful moment where Carina Machado, who ends up getting the Nobel Peace Prize, in her tweet, she did something that Obama should have done. She gave credit to the president and the White House, and that's how class looks like. Good for Carina Machado.
So from this explanation, it's obvious that if the deadline, for voting was strictly January 31st, Then all these campaigns, all this while, it meant that even before the race started, Donald Trump had lost out. He had no chance. So all the campaigns and everything were just in vain because Donald Trump got into office just a week plus before the 31st of January. Technically, he was fighting a lost battle